If you are using Alibaba but never use 1688, you could be losing out on a lot of money. Prices on 1688 are usually 20 to 30% cheaper than Alibaba because the main market of 1688 is local Chinese market, where Alibaba targets foreign buyers. That's why the prices are slightly higher on Alibaba. Because prices are cheaper on 1688, a lot of people believe that the quality is also lower. I have personally sourced 3 of my products from 1688, and the quality I got is a lot better than what I was getting on Alibaba, and also I got lower prices. And in some cases, by the exactly same factory is selling on Alibaba, could be selling the same product on 1688 for a lot cheaper that you don't know. So it's definitely worth checking if your product is listed on 1688 for cheaper. In this video, I'm going to show you the best way to find products on 1688 so you get the best search result. Also, how to find the good factories, and also how to speak to the suppliers where most of them don't speak any English. And I'll show you how you can still use Alibaba Trade Assurance but pay the suppliers on 1688. Before I show you this, if you are new to this channel, my name is Adnan and I've been selling on Amazon for the last 4 years. And just in the last 30 days, I've generated over £41,000. So let's go to the screen and I'll show you exactly how to find your products on 1688. So there are 3 main ways to search for products on 1688. One is to either type the product name in English. The second way to either type in Chinese, and the fourth way is to do an image search. So I'm going to show you all 3. So the first one is just go on 1688 and let's say we are looking for baby stroller. So if you just type in English, you will get the result, but in my experience, the result is not as good as when you type that same keyword in Chinese. So here you can see we only got 9 pages when we typed baby stroller in English. And if you go in Google Translator and just search from English to Chinese and type baby stroller and then just copy that and then go back in 1688, and when you paste that, and now you'll see the results are different and they are much better. And you can see we now got 34 pages instead of 9 pages that we got before. So personally, I prefer to type my keyword in Chinese. And the third and the final way to look for your product on 1688 is image search. So let's say you have an image of any product. So let's say this product you're looking for. So we copy that image and then go back in 1688 and then just paste that here. It will automatically paste that image here, and then just click on that orange icon. It's now going to look for your product looking at that image. I've also found some good results with this method as well. So it's also worth doing an image search. If you are struggling to get any results with a keyword search, then I would look for a product with the image search. So we got 12 pages, but it's still with image search, you will get a lot accurate result for the actual product. So if there is a product if it's a new product or is a complicated product, I would prefer to do an image search than a keyword search. Now, next stage is to find a good supplier. So we're going to go back to our Chinese result. You can see the whole page is in Chinese because it's targeted to the local Chinese market. So all you got to do is right click and translate to English, and the page will automatically be translated in English. So the best way to find a good supplier, instead of looking at the results and then going through each result, what I do is I click on find a supplier. And what I found is instead of clicking on the page when it's translated in English, I find the results better when I translate it back to Chinese, and then make sure you stay on the same place where you were. So this third was find a, so in English, you'll see 1, 2, 3. The third option was find a supplier. So go back in Chinese and then click on that third option. Because when we translate the page in English, it changes the layout of the page because of the font. Sometimes the font gets stretched and it changes the layout of the page, and sometimes it messes up the result of the page. So always change it back to Chinese and then click if you ever want to click on something. So now you'll see we've got a list of all the suppliers. We'll now change it back to English. And you'll see there's lots of options here. So let me go through them one by one, the top options. So the return rate, I was even confused when I started looking at products on 1688. The return rate doesn't mean the products have been returned, which we usually get on Amazon, the return rate. The return rate on 1688 means how many buyers are coming back to this supplier. That's what it means by return rate. So you can also sort by return rate, where you will see the suppliers who have a lot of repeat orders. You can sort them by response rate. You can sort them by the transaction quantities. You can sort them by regions. You can also sort them by factory area and employees. These are the two main filters I always put. The number of employees, you don't want to look at any supplier with less than 10 people. These are mostly trading agents, are middlemen, and they're not actually factories, so they will take their cut, so that will increase your sourcing cost. So the whole point of sourcing product from 1688 is to keep your sourcing cost as low as possible. Even 11 to 50 people is a very small factory. I would look for a factory from 50 plus to 1,000. And also factory area is quite important, because sometimes it will show you as a factory, but if you look at the area by square meters, small size of a small room, and obviously you can't produce products in a small room. So that's two options where you can see that factory is actually a genuine factory and is a big factory where they have a lot of employees. So if you click on 50 to 100, this result will be sorted by the supplier who have more than 50 employees. And then you would want to go through one by one and then see what supplier suits you. And another thing I'm going to show you here is the name of the factory is very important. So how name structure of a factory works is the first part of the name is always the area where the factory is located in China. The second part of the factory name will be the name of the actual factory. And then the third part of the name of the factory is the product they specialize in. And the last part is what type of limited company that is. So if you look at this name, the first part is where the factory is located in China. This is the actual name of the factory. And then I would say socks. So socks is the main product this factory builds. It also builds the product we've searched, but socks is kind of their speciality. First three part of a title of a factory is really important. So it'll tell you the location and the name of the factory, and then the product they specialize in. So that kind of speeds up the process. Instead of going one by one and then checking what their main manufacturing product is, you just look at the name and then you can see. So if socks is something I'm sourcing right now, this might be the factory that I want to look further, because I know they're specialized in making socks. And you can now look at their sales volume, their return rate, their factory area, and then people. And you can see the factory has been selling on 1688 for last 9 years. So I don't want to work for any factory who's been on 1688 for at least 3 years. So I don't want to look at factories any less than that, because you don't know their history. They have less history. So you want to look at factories which are been on 1688 for more than 3 years. So the next part is, how do we communicate with these factories? And how do we pay these factories? Because first of all, most of them won't speak English, because English is not their target market. And the second is, they will only accept money in the local Chinese currency, because most of them won't have an international payment system set up, because they don't need it, because their main market is China. And you'll see a lot of these suppliers, you won't find them on Alibaba, because even they're doing thousands and thousands of orders per month, because the Chinese market is so big for them that they don't need to go to the international market. I mean, they are producing really high quality, good products, but they don't need to go outside China, because they can't fulfill the supply outside China. So the best way I personally communicate and pay the supplier is, you need to go back to Alibaba, and then this time you want to type in the search result 1688 agent. And then you'll get a result of loads of agents on Alibaba who will act as a middleman, and they will help you communicate with these factories and also help you pay these factories. And these agents will have trade assurance. So then now you can use Alibaba's trade assurance, but you can get 1688 prices. And doing this way, you know the exact price of the product you are sourcing. So the agent can't come back and say the factory is saying the price is not actually what's on the website. You can try a different agent. You can speak to 9 or 10 agents and then see which agent you find more trustworthy. Because if the agent's trying to make up things that the prices on 1688 is not the same, then you can go and speak to other supplier, because you know this is the actual price listed on 1688. Your agent will have to give you the same price. In my personal experience, my agent has actually come back and given me a lower price than what was shown on 1688, because the agent is based in China and they know how to communicate, and that's their main job, is to communicate with factories. So go on Alibaba and look for these 1688 agents and make sure the agents are verified and they have trade assurance and they've been on Alibaba for at least 5 years, and give them the link of the 1688 factory and the product you're looking for, and then ask them to go and verify the price, and they'll come back and verify the price. And then if you need samples or if you have any questions, speak to this agent, and agent will go and communicate with the factory, and that's how you'll be able to source products from 1688. The agents will charge you a small fee. Even if you pay the agent, it would still be a lot cheaper than sometimes directly speaking to a factory on Alibaba for the product. And this is my own personal experience. I'm paying an agent and my price is still cheaper than what I was getting before from a factory on Alibaba. So let me give you an example. That when I was looking at baby stroller, I found this factory, and if you want to check if the same factory is also selling on Alibaba, all you've got to do is copy the title and then search on Google. And when you search on Google, usually the first or second result, it'll be Alibaba's on it. And you can see that same factory. When I click on it, you can see it's the same factory which is also selling on Alibaba. And let me give you an example of a product that you can see. This stroller they have on their 1688 page, and you can see they are advertising at 229 yuan. Another thing I want to show you here is you can also do an image translation. When you translate a page, the page will only translate all the text, but it won't translate the actual images. And to do that, all you've got to do is select that image. Once you select and then press copy, and then go on Google and type image translator, and usually you'll get this result on the first page, that Yandex Translate. I find that really helpful. When you click on it, all you've got to do is just paste your image that you've copied, and it's going to translate that image for you. And you can see that they're now showing that if you place the order today, it's 229. We know that's a marketing strategy. The price will stay this for a long time, not just for today, and it's 229 yuan. Now, if you go on Google and find out 229 into USD, it works out $32. And if you go back on Alibaba, and then this is the exactly same product that they were showing on their 1688 page, and you can see the price here is $52, where on 1688 the price is $32. So that's around 40% cheaper than what you would get on Alibaba. So if you now want to just speak to this factory on Alibaba, but tell them that, give them the reference of 1688 and say that you're offering the same product on 1688 for $32, then why are you charging me $52 on Alibaba? And then you have an argument that you can maybe, they might say that these are the prices for local market, we don't offer these prices on international, but you have a point that you can negotiate from that $52. So they might agree on, let's say, $40 or $35 or $40. So still you are paying a lot less than what you were paying before. Because if you just go to this supplier and say, can you give me a good price? They might reduce that to $50, or let's say they might knock $5 off it. But when you go back with a screenshot of the same product, what they're selling on 1688, for 40% less than what they're charging on Alibaba, then they might offer you a lot more discount than what they are showing before on Alibaba. So that's one of the techniques to reduce the price of the product. So if you are sourcing on Alibaba, just check if your factory is also listed on 1688, and if they are charging a lot less for your products on 1688, because then you can go back to them with a screenshot of 1688 and tell them that why are you charging me higher prices just because I am buying you from Alibaba. It doesn't make any sense. So this is one way you can maybe reduce the cost of your product. So I hope you found this video helpful. You might want to watch my next video where I show the best way to pay suppliers on Alibaba that can also save you thousands of pounds in the long run. You can watch that video here. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week. Thank you very much.